Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the new Kyogre with even Origin Pulse in the Open Great League. We can now use the Shadow Kyogre in the Open Great League and we're going to take a look at this Pokemon right now, and I have to say it was way better than I expected. Like, this team actually was of course also pretty well designed, which I have to say. Of course, yeah, we're going to have very meta teams around it, or like very meta Pokemon around it here, with the Charger Bug as well as the LilyNiRiain. But I have to say that this team actually worked out pretty well for me, even though we have Kyogre, or maybe because we have Kyogre. What I have to say as well, I play quite a lot here to try to put the Kyogre into a spotlight, so like there are going to be some decisions where I decide to no shields just so my Kyogre can do something. But honestly, what is this bug on the screen there? Like, holy hell, like the, I think the Shadow Claw or whatever definitely still sticks around for a little bit, but we're going to have a great answer against the opponent's Sableye with our LilyNiRiain. But yeah, honestly I have to say, this worked way better than I expected, and you're going to see it here right now as well. This Pokemon is a lot of fun, and I could actually see it, especially in like limited metas or whatever, to have a little bit of play, just because you have like very hard hitting Surf plus the Waterfall on this Pokemon. Yes, we're going to have here the Origin Pulse, which we're actually going to be able to use several times as well. So like, I saw some comments below when I talked a little bit about Shadow Kyogre in a different video, about that you only need to use like one charge move anyway, but maybe we're going to use an Origin Pulse maybe directly in the first battle. How about this? I'd literally just do it just for fun here. Like, Surf would have been most likely enough from this range already, because Surf does so much damage, but why not go for the big boom? Goodbye there, Trevenant. Kyogre completely demolishing you, and we can see what is coming in next. The Lantern comes in. I was a little bit sad here because I had to swap out basically, because the Lantern would have been able to farm me down, so we win this game with a Charger Bug, but Kyogre Needy was able to completely sweep the opponent. But maybe this happens again soon. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have here Victreebel in the lead. And this is something that I have to say as well, which happens like literally, I think out of like the 10 battles that I did, I feel like 3 or 4 were against like degenerate teams, where it's like literally fast move down the entire time. And I feel like this is like so crazy how much the meta shifted towards literally those teams. Like, I see them all the time now. Everywhere is like Victreebel, the Wigglytuff, the Annihilate maybe in the back as well sometimes, and like always like a Bastion, which is just really annoying. And I have to say, most of those losses came to like fast move beatdown teams, which is just the case if you run something squishy like a Kyogre. So yeah, here we're going to be able to use a shield. We of course have to swap out into our LilyNiRiain as the opponent goes into their Victreebel. I can let this move go through, expecting that they're going to have in the back the Bastion, which I was correct about. Can we still actually win this game? Because for sure, one serve will knock out the Victreebel from our Shadow Kyogre. We have like so much damage output from the Kyogre as well. So we can go for the Power Whip now. We're going to do a little bit of damage here. We can still go for another one, which is going to be ideal. And if we can now basically get to 2 serves, we would be fine. But I'm not too sure if the opponent does not have just too much energy for this. Maybe we can farm them all the way down, which might be even a little bit easier for us. Let's take a look. We have 1 serve stored already, and we can just barely not farm them down. I would have been able to Origin Pulse the Victreebel, but sadly Bastion was just too bulky. Next opponent, Great Lead Force. It's basically also, I can talk a little bit about the team as well, as they can completely destroy this Gligar. Basically what I thought about this team is that you only battles that you can really win with Kyogre are against like ground types like the Gligar, and also something like maybe the Skarmory, but I kind of want to have something like the Charger Bug in the lead, which is going to be able to counter something like the Poliwrath, which we're going to be really bad against, and or Grass type Pokemon, which you're really bad against. And then LilyNiRiain is like a really good slot in between, because basically Charger Bug pretty bad against ground type Pokemon. LilyNiRiain has access to the coverage move of the what's called the Power Whip, and then you're going to have in the back the Kyogre to basically sweep endgame against those ground types. And honestly, the team idea was really nice, and I think if you play some other different kind of water type Pokemon in the back there as well, you're going to be fine with that. But of course, like with the Kyogre, it's sometimes a little bit tricky. Speaking of a little bit tricky, the matchup is going to be a little bit tricky, because we have 1 move stored on our Charger Bug, which is going to be an Exeter. We're going to face off against a Skarmory, which still has a shield left, against our LilyNiRiain, which is going to be pretty low already. And yeah, this is not going to be as ideal, but what the opponent is going to be forced to do now is they're going to be forced to go up to 100 energy, and this will allow us to even go for another Body Slam in order to force the shield from the opponent. There's just one thing that I'm fearing at this point, and that is that the opponent is gonna go for the Sky Attack, then swaps out into the Poliwrath and catches my move here, but they didn't. And with this, Charger Bug can go for the knockout here with the Exeter. We can go for a Volt Switch, we can knock them out and win the game. Next opponent, great lead for us. Let's see what they're gonna go for. They're gonna go into the Sableye. It's going to be amazing for us. I stay in for a little bit because actually the matchup of Sableye against Lickitung, while it's really good for us, I still kind of want to just get him a little bit lower. And what I'm also gonna do here is I decided to go for a shield because a shield will allow me to not take the return. A lot of times, Sableye goes for the return because in the 2-shield scenario, or like not in the 2-shield scenario, but in the 2-return scenario, Lickitung actually can go down and can lose against Sableye. 2 returns plus a little bit of Shadow Claw damage is enough to knock out the Lickitung. So this is sometimes a little bit tricky. Here in comes again the Azumarill, so the shield that we just used basically gave us so much energy that we can all use against the Azumarill, which is just going to be great, as this is going to now put them into the red health here as well, as we can even take a move from the opponent, and I expect that they're going to have in the back a Trevenant, because it's a very common lineup to have the Azumarill, Sableye as well as Trevenant, and I was correct with this. I can swap into my Kyogre here, I can go for the Surf, and I think I'm most likely going to force the opponent to go for a Seed Bomb still as well, because they're kind of scared of my fast move pressure plus also the surf pressure, and so I can let this move go through. Kyogre did its job and I can swap into my Lickitung. I tried to reach a charge move, didn't work out. Maybe I should have used a shield here. In hindsight, maybe I should have actually done this, but now I decided to hope that Charger Bug could farm him down, but the health is just not in range, and I know that they're going to swap very soon into the Azumarill, but I feel like that the Azumarill still had some health anyway and some energy, so I decided to just go for the charge move. They swapped into the Azumarill. It is just going to be the Exeter, but they were lower than I thought, and we of course lose by like 2 HP there on the Trevenant. And so we can move on to the next game. Would have been winnable if I played a little bit better, for sure. Next opponent, we're going to have a Lickitung here, and here's the thing as well, you have still an ABB style line. While it doesn't really seem to be an ABB style line, there are still counters that are both basically going to hardwall your Pokemon on the back with the Kyogre as well as the Lickitung. Example for this would be Poliwrath, so you kinda still want to keep your Charger Bug alive, and so I tried to swap out here, try to catch the move, and it actually does work out because the opponent does not want to swap out. And I was kinda curious, like why would you not want to swap out here? You're going to have a free swap into whatever you want, and you'd rather stay in the matchup of a Lickitung against my Lickitung, where your Lickitung already is basically in a deep red health. So I'm kinda curious, at least at this point, on what the opponent is planning. They're planning to swap into a Gligar, but you know what I'm gonna plan now? I'm going to plan to go for a Body Slam. But with this, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting until they go for a dig, because this is going to allow us to now still survive this and swap into the big Kyogre, and with this we can just go for the full farm down, and they don't even get to another move, which is going to be amazing, as now we farmed down the first Pokemon. Let's see what's coming in next. It's going to be the Cresselia, and we can basically go head-to-head to the opponent here because the fast move is not really chunking us at all, and so we can just go for the Surf, forcing a shield from the opponent. Our fast move are chunking quite a bit. Waterfall damage from the Shadow Kyogre in the Great League is just absurd, and we can just try to go for more Surf damage here against the opponent. This game is not over, but what I try to do here is I want to really sweep this game just with Kyogre, so I can swap out into my Lickitung to catch a move, and Kyogre can come back straight away. And this basically is something I would have not done if it wasn't for Kyogre. Can we actually win this game with only Kyogre? We cannot. They survive with 1 HP. We still win the game, which I knew basically already like a minute ago, but still, I really want to get this win with a triple kill for Kyogre. It's only a double kill, but I feel like this is more than most people expected from this Pokemon. Moving on to the next opponent, and this was a very peculiar matchup as well. We're going to see here the Annihilape, and yeah, I bait a little bit too often here, and it's an issue which you see quite often with my battles as well. I bait a little bit too often, but what I don't really understand at this point is, like, if you bait first and then you still get to move, like, why do you not shield the second one? I'm not sure, but I definitely take it. And what I'm also going to take here is going to be the Bastion coming in, but there was like this weird YouTuber, I don't know, like, I actually don't really like him, who made a video about Bastion, the Annihilape, as well as the Trevenant. Wonder who that was, let me know in the comment section. But yeah, we're going to be able to still go up against the opponent. I thought that this would most likely be the team, but I also knew that there was not a lot that I can really do about it. And so I can go for the Exeter, and my only goal here is maybe to get the final shield. Maybe I can still go for another Exeter. I'm going to let this move go through for sure, because at this point, the Seed Bomb is going to not knock us out. They would go for most likely Shadow Ball usually, but they can even go for another Seed Bomb, and it's down to Kyogre. Can Kyogre with a shield still win this game? I can go for the knockout here, and this is looking pretty damn nice, right? Like, we still have a good chance here of winning. We can just go up against the Bastion. We have super effective damage. We're chunking at the opponent's health. We can only go for the Surf, but this should be enough, right? Like, I mean, Shadow Kyogre against the Bastion. I'm honestly lost for words. Like, how did we lose this one? Like, how can Bastion actually survive a Surf from a Kyogre from, like, it was less than half of their health? It's just madness. But yeah, next opponent, Frenzy Plant variant there of the opponent's Superior, which is of course common, normal, whatever. But we're gonna see this swap out into the Charger Bug. At this point, I kinda would imagine that they're going to have a Water type in the back, because basically they have a hard weakness against Pokemon like the Skarmory, as well as of course like something like a Talonflame. They have a Sasop that is of course good against Skarmory, but like mid against Talonflame, because it's still gonna get super effective damage against you. But, so I expect that they're going to have most likely a Water type in the back, which might be a target, but we will find out shortly what they're actually going to have in the back. And here we're going to be able to still go ahead and go for the Body Slam against the opponent's Superior. We can go for another Body Slam, at least that's what I thought, but they can still go for the Aerial Ace prior, which is not as ideal. I can go to my own little boy here, into my Charger Bug, and we saw already what they're going to have in the back. It's going to be the Lantern. So, we're going to have a Grass type, and we're going to have an Electric type against our Water type in the back. So, at this point, there was one plan that I had still, and this was trying to get the opponent as low as possible, and they kinda made a huge mistake here. And the mistake is that they basically decided to not go for the Surf before I reach another charge move, and so I can let this move go through. I got them already to half health, but like now it's down to Kyogre to beat a Lantern plus the Superior. But we still have 2 shields, and this can be very good for us. As the opponent goes for a Surf, they're gonna go for another Surf. But with this, they're definitely going to be kinda energy dry at this point. So they swap out into the Superior. I was predicting this, so I didn't go for my fast move. Go for the Surf, get the knockout, and our Kyogre is just able to beat an Electric type and a Grass type together. Absolutely mad. Again, another super toxic lineup. And this happened quite a bit. And also a lot of Victory Bell in the lead, which I find is kind of rarer to be seen. We're going to see here the opponent's what's called Charger Bug coming in as well, which is okay. What I'm going to try to do here is to catch a move. Of course, they can still speed me to the next one no matter what, so like it does not really matter what I'm doing here otherwise. But what I can try to do is at least try to go up a little bit in terms of the energy after this charge move hitting me, because now they need still 3 more Volt Switches to get to another one, so I can count here, and this is now the 3rd, as I can go for the Body Slam. This would get the knockout against the opponent. If they decide to use a shield, I would use the shield, but they don't decide to do this. But I can still reach another move against the opponent. And here's the thing as well, which is something that is like kind of clear at this point. There must be a Bastion in the back, right? Like they have already basically their bait out for like potential ground type Pokemon. So there must be a Bastion in the back. And so I decided to swap out immediately into my Kyogre just to face a Lantern. And at this point, this game is over, right? Like, there's no lot that I can do anymore. Like, the opponent is going to just be able to knock me out. It is just sad, but yeah, they have so much energy now on the Lantern. It was just so unfortunate. I honestly, I can't believe really that I swapped out immediately, because if I just stayed in, I think I still had a decent chance, even with the debuff of Acid Spray. But yeah, sadly, there's going to be a loss here now. Or is it? Or is it? The opponent went for an extra fast move, so that means they are not at a charge move yet. It is a CMP tie, and Charger Bug actually comes in clutch and wins this game. What a game that is. If you enjoyed this early review for the Kyogre in the Open Great League, then feel free to leave a like, would really appreciate it. Also, something that I forgot to say, the Hisuian Cup is completely changed. I made a post on my community tab, so definitely check that one out as well. Basically, the top team, video is kind of obsolete with this. Like, it's kind of sad, like all the content that every content creator produced prior was completely erased thanks to Niantic changing the what's called a specification for the cup just right before, like after actually the cup was stopped like an hour later, which is just so sad. I'm not going to do another video for like the Sinnoh Cup in terms of like top teams. I might just stick for the Open Great League, to be fair. Like, nobody really needs Sinnoh Cup at this point. But yeah, just wanted to make it show real quick here. We're going to be able to swap out against the opponent Charger Bug. They come in with a Whiscash, and sadly our health got like hit by the opponent's Exeter, I was kind of sad that we were not able to farm down with my own charger bug because it was like literally 1 HP. But here I'm still going to be able to go for the body slam bait. If they didn't get the Exeter off, it would have been like such a different game. Like it literally would have completely flipped the game because we would have been able to just still have a healthy Lickitung there because 2 Scalds doesn't knock me out. Still would have been in a position where I would have switch advantage as well, which would have been nice, but like this 1 HP is just so unfortunate. In comes here another Mud Bomb, I don't survive it, and now it comes down to the Kyogre. Can Kyogre win this game for us? We will find out shortly. I'm still going to try my best here to win this game, but we will find out here that they're gonna go for the Scald, and this is so unfortunate. And why is it so unfortunate? The attack drop came through. And honestly, I would have loved to see, but I'm fairly certain I would have been able to win this game here. They still have a shield, but I went for the Origin Pulse to let this move go through, and I'm fairly certain I would have been able to farm down if I didn't get the debuff. 50% chance, but it is what it is. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, check out the videos on the screen, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.